Hey, what's going on? Christian Carter, and today we are talking about delayed financing. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, first of all, real quick, so typically when you buy a home in cash, you can't access the cash out of that property for about 6 months, right? So that's called a seasoning requirement. So essentially, when you buy a new property, you can't refinance it or anything like that until about 6 months. So that's that seasoning window. Now, what we can do is what's called delayed financing, right? And that's what we're talking about today. So delayed financing is essentially a cash out refinance within the first 6 months of you purchasing that property. All right. All right. So let's go through a couple of things right here. We've got four big things and then three notes that I want to hit on at the end. So number one, where did the money come from, right? Where did the money come from? So essentially, in order to do delayed financing, it has to be your money. So you can purchase this property using cash. You can use a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit that you took against a different property, a 401k loan. Let's see, you can use a business account as long as the cash in that business account is your money. You're not using it from a different business that somebody else owns. And also, this has to be documented, right? So we have to be able to document where the money came from that allowed you to purchase that property. All right. All right. Let's move on to number two. Who sold the property to who or to whom? I really don't understand the whom, but who sold the property to who, right? So this has to be an arm's length transaction, meaning you can't really know the seller of the property or they can't be related to you. So you can't buy this property. I can't buy a property from a parent or a sibling using all cash and then turn around 2 days after the closing, after I buy that property, and do delayed financing. All right. So it's got to be an arm's length transaction. All right. Number three, how did you close on that property? Right. So essentially, in a nutshell, you've got to close in three ways. You've got to close as a natural person, an LLC, or a trust. So natural person, that's just essentially, I buy a home in all cash and I close in my name, or I close in my company's LLC, or I close in a trust. Okay. All right. Number four, why would someone use delayed financing? Right. So there's a bunch of different reasons why delayed financing is going to be used, and the number one thing is it's going to make you more competitive. Right. So why is it going to make you more competitive? You could do a cash offer, so you're not going to have a financing contingency or anything like that. Essentially, you're going to have a quicker close, right? You can close on the property much quicker than going through the mortgage process. And then this other part here, the property might not be eligible for conventional financing. So I know a lot of people use delayed financing. They'll buy a property under market value for cash, right? Which normally the property wouldn't meet conventional guidelines. And then they'll rehab the property. So they'll fix the property up. And then if they're within that 6-month window, they can do a cash out refinance using delayed financing and get all their money back, right? So essentially, why would you use delayed financing? It makes you more competitive in purchasing that property. All right. And then these last three things that I just wanted to hit on real quick. So there's going to be a preliminary title search during this delayed financing property, and there can't be any liens on the current property that you're using the delayed financing for. And then this other part, the loan amount for the delayed financing, which is essentially a cash out refinance. The loan amount can't be more than the purchase price, plus the closing costs, plus the prepaids, plus the points, and then plus any rehab amount, as long as you put that rehab amount on the settlement statement, right? And then the last point here is no gifts. So again, this no gifts portion kind of goes back to question number one, where did the money come from? It has to be your money. So you can't use, a good example of this is, let's say I see a property and it's $100,000 and a sibling or a parent or someone like that gifts me $100,000 in order to buy that property. that would not be eligible for delayed financing. So this was a real brief overview on delayed financing. If you have any questions about it, reach out to me anytime. But this is a really, really powerful tool, and yeah, I hope this helps. See ya.